Hi, this is Dean Brown, designer of Spruance Leader, published by DVG. I'm going to do a couple of videos on carrier expansion. I think I have a couple that are out there that are probably over a year old. There's a couple of other videos. Also, Hex Encountered, Joe, I think, created a couple, and Alpha Nerd. But I'm just going to walk through and probably execute a couple of missions with the carrier expansion just to, again, just refresh everybody's memory about what it is and how to use it. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. For the video, I am going to use the Spruance Leader Vassal module that was created by Greg Amos. He is talking to Dan Verson about making it available to everybody, I guess, for purchase from the DVG site. I just checked, it's not there, but I'm hoping that it is going to show up pretty soon. Have been using this module that Greg created. It's really good. Has all of the expansions in it. So the core game, the SSN expansion, the carrier expansion, and the allied expansion. So you can see there's things in here like the carrier strike attack page, subcards from the SSN expansion. So that, yeah, so there's a lot in this module that you know that makes it easier basically to set up a campaign and run it if that's what you want to do. So I'm going to do the Med Black Sea Deterrence campaign for the carrier expansion, Cold War 1988. So it takes place in the Mediterranean and Black Sea area, as you can see here on the map. This one is difficulty of hard, so I'm going to play this one on the medium campaign. So I'm going to do 6 targets. You can see that these last 2 zones have backfire attack area, so there's a chance that a carrier task force can be attacked by Soviet backfires. There's also zones, air defense zones here and here, that if you go to attack targets inside these circles are protected by an air defense system. It's target 49 and target 51, so it provides air defense for all the targets in that area. You can also see that there's a lot of targets back here in the Eastern Med and Black Sea, which means that we have to traverse through each of these campaign areas to get to these ones over here. One of the things you also note is that the task force track starts off at 5, so so there's going to be 5 excuse me, 5 random Soviet naval task forces that are going to be placed on the campaign map that you have to fight your way through, probably at least a couple of them, to get to the target. And then if your target's back here, then you're going to have to fight through all 5, depending on what activity level you get for the random encounters. So yeah, so it's going to be hard. And the activity level is +2 at the start. So as we start destroying targets, and there's not a lot in here. I mean, there's some in here that have the task force track. So if you destroy the target, the track reduces. A lot of them are war targets, which we don't have the war track on here, but so they don't really impact the tracks as much as one of the normal campaigns might. So 6 targets. So I start off with 190 special option points, and you get 30 special option points per mission. And the skill levels: 1 newbie, 2 green, 2 average, 1 skilled, and then any after the 6 here you are going to be at the green level. So the Vassal module does set up some of the cups. So the enemy sub cup is set up. The damage counter draw cup is set up. The target, the event card, sensor performance, which I'm not using. And then, some of these encounter cards, enemy sub decks, enemy ship deck, they're all set up and shuffled. Most importantly, the target deck, when you activate the campaign, it goes and just filters out targets that aren't on the campaign map. So automatically creates a target deck for you using the target numbers that are on the campaign map. And then the campaign does say that, pull out target 49 and 51, which are those enemy air defense system targets that are, here and back here. So I can choose to attack them whenever I want and during the campaign. And I probably will attack 49 pretty early. So I did go ahead and purchase with my 190 SO points one carrier. So you have the option to purchase 2 carriers. I only bought one, the Eisenhower CVN 69. I do get one skilled, and I made this carrier skilled, but you can use 4 SO points once for each ship or commander to promote that ship or commander to the next level, which I did. I did for all of these, actually. So my carrier is a veteran carrier. You could see that the carrier cards are a little bit different than the other ship cards. So it can do detection of ships. It does have a radar system to do that, but it can't attack them. There's no ordnance to attack the enemy ships. But it does have a RIM 7 missile that it can fire at enemy aircraft, very short range though. And then the right column, which is different than the other cards, identifies the number of squadrons that the carrier can have. It's an optional limit. It is 6, and I did buy 6 squadrons, so it does align there. And then the number of launches per turn of squadrons is 4 for my veteran card. It was 3 at the skilled. So if I want to launch, I can launch up to 4 squadrons per turn, and it costs me 2 stress points for my crew to do that. If I want to launch all 6 squadrons, then it's going to take 2 turns, and my carrier will suffer, 4 stress. My crew, 4 stress, 2 for each launch. I got Commander McLean, strike focus. He was average. I promoted him up to skilled with my 4 SO points. He has a ground strike +1 and an EA attack +1. I do have EA attack squadron, my EA 6B Prowler squadron. So I can use my actions when I launch my attack. I can use my actions to give a squadron, a +1 modifier for either ground strike or EA attack. I did buy 5 ships. One of them is Ticonderoga class, so they take off. A Spruance class destroyer. That's great for anti-submarine. That's the one weakness that I have, that most of the carrier task forces have, is that I can't launch a squadron to attack submarines, although there are a couple of ASW squadrons that you can purchase, the S3A Viking and the SH3H helicopter, to do that. They're not quite as effective as as attacking ships or land targets. So it's likely that I am going to be facing enemy sub tactical encounters when I can't destroy them or even detect them. Mostly the random encounters. And then another destroyer and a couple of frigates. So all of them except for my destroyer here, Richard E. Byrd, can have helicopters. And then some squadron card I picked CVW7. Again, this one there's a lot of land targets in the campaign. So I do have attack against land targets at +2 ground attack, which would be my attack squadron. So it's pretty powerful. The attack squadron really dumps a lot of ordnance. The hardest part is remembering to use this modifier when I'm actually doing the attacks, and to use my commander actions as well. I think, I did buy a couple of commander skills. So my carrier does have a cool of 1, which means it reduces stress after 1 stress after every encounter. I did buy another +1 cool commander skill for my carrier, so I will lose two stress after every encounter, which should, because I only have the 1 carrier, hopefully keep my crew stress under control. And then for the late takeoff, I did get a commander skill of 2 less XP to promote. So instead of, let's see, 5 XPs to go from skilled to veteran, I only need 3. So this will help level up my most powerful non-carrier ship in the task force a little bit quicker as I progress through the campaign. And there is one optional rule that I'm going to test out in this campaign, and I'm probably going to put it in the rule book, the version 2.0 rule book that I'm working on. And this is enemy fighter optional rule. So when you're attacking a land target, and again, this campaign has a lot of them, for each land, for each land target attack, I roll a die and add the indicated number of fighter squadrons to the target that I have to fight through and defeat. So on my strike card, if I rolled a 9, then there would be 3 MiG-29 squadrons here that I have to fight my way through to be able to perform the strike. Or, if my fighter squadrons can't defeat all of the enemy cap, then there's an additional air defense -2 modifier that I have to apply to each of my attacks. And then also the enemy cap can attack my squadrons directly. 1 to 8, my strike and attack squadrons, or 9 and 10, my AWEA. So likely going to cause some damage to my squadron strength. So it'll be interesting to see how that particular rule plays out. There's really not a lot of enemy cap targets, so I think this is something that makes the carrier attacks a little bit more interesting. So we'll be using that rule as we progress through the campaign. I think that's pretty much all I want to talk about. So I'm going to start my first mission on the next video. And one other thing I did forget is I did fill out my task force log sheet. So I have the campaign length, SO points, and you can see here's my one carrier task force commander. I only have 1 carrier. And here's my ships with their current skill level and XPs to promote, and then ones that have cool. I did spend 176 special option points total, so the 14 that I had left over I rolled into my first mission, so the 30 plus 14, 44. And then I did fill out my squadron leader carrier air wing log, so I listed my 6 squadrons that I have purchased and what their plane type is and their current strength for the Eisenhower. Okay, that's it. Let's get started on the first mission.